Hi, my name is Nathan. I go by Peteparker, and every week I get to do comic book reviews on the comic books I buy. So this is going to be the review of X-Men Legacy number 247. This is chapter 5 of 7 in the Age of X storyline that's been jumping between this and New Mutants, and also has a few one-shots and miniseries thrown in there. This is written by Mike Carey and penciled by Clay Mann, whose pencils are great, as usual. I really wish that Clay Mann had been able to do the entire series, because he really just, his light pencil work, along with some brilliant coloring, really makes some really, really awesome pictures. I've always enjoyed his artwork, and having him on this series has really made it. Mostly that's what I've enjoyed about the series. In case you didn't know, Age of X has been going on since January. It's basically an X-Men storyline where all of a sudden all of the X-Men that we know of are thrust into a different scenario where they have been more or less in solitude in a fortress built out of several tens of skyscrapers from New York City that Magneto built, and they're attacked every day from the humans on the outside. The idea is that very early on, humans were afraid of mutants to the point that they actually hunted them down to extinction, and there's only whoever's left in the series to defend against death, more or less. So every day they defy death. This issue in particular reveals why this place was made and what the whole situation is and how it's relevant to what we know about the X-Men currently, which was that they are living on a small island called Utopia just outside of San Francisco, and a lot of them were working there. So this is really the reveal, I believe. And, you know, in the 5th of 7 issues in the miniseries, or in the series, or whatever, it kind of makes sense that this is a reveal happening now. And then for the last 2, really just the next one, you're going to see some fallout. I can't say it's not predictable. Given the characters who are involved with this, it's kind of easy to tell that this was a possibility early on. Legion is involved in the series, and he's an ultra-powerful son of Moira McTaggart and Charles Xavier, or Professor X. And he was involved in the creation or the spin-off of the original Age of Apocalypse storyline. And he's involved in the creation of the Age of X storyline too. It kind of makes sense. So when I first saw that he was involved, I kind of had an inkling that, hey, you know, there's a guy who typically bends reality to his will. There's a very good, likely situation, or it's very likely that he is the source of this alternate reality. And turns out that it's not even really an alternate reality. It's more like a situation where, like the House of M, for instance, where in that case, the Scarlet Witch warped the entire world and possibly the universe to be more like an alternate universe, which was the House of M. And in this case, in the Age of X, Legion didn't do the entire planet or even the entire universe. He really, well, maybe. He really just focused on the X-Men, and he didn't even do it on purpose. He has a paranoid schizophrenia, and so one of his selves did it in order to try to help him from being hurt anymore. Kind of interesting. We'll see what the really fallout is behind all this. I was hoping for more. It is very cool, and I do hope that in many cases like this, like House of M, that they do a couple other mini-series after this that actually are based in the Age of X universe, since this one obviously is not. because the characters are interesting, the situation's interesting, and unfortunately we just don't get enough about all of these characters. In a lot of cases, they're just a little bit different looking than their, I don't know if I can even show, everybody's kind of small for this camera, but they're just a little bit different looking than their mainstream counterparts, and in some cases they're very different. Like Cannonball, for instance, is the leader of the field team, or the people that fight back the humans who are trying to kill them every day, whereas usually that's Cyclops, but Cyclops has had some pretty heavy stuff handed to him in this reality, so he's not the leading type, and he's more of a killer too. So I mean, they've played out some really interesting aspects of it while they're leading up to this mystery, but I can't say the reveal was really all that mind-blowing. So I have enjoyed the series altogether. I definitely will be picking up the last 2 issues, which is New Mutants 24 and Age of X Universe number 2, I think. The last Age of X Universe I didn't love all that much, but I'm sure that's just going to be some other stories about the Avengers and who they are in the Age of X universe, which kind of is weird, right? Because we've had a lot of backstory about characters like the Fantastic Four and Beast and the Avengers in the other Age of X universe, and even Spider-Man and Mary Jane were in that. But really, they're not really existing at all. So they're kind of like, I hate to say Elseworlds tales, but they're like stories that happened in another universe that doesn't kind of really exist. So they're not really additions to the story at all. I'm really interested to see how this leads into the other things they've got going on for the X-Men this summer, specifically the Age of Apocalypse X-Men fighting with Uncanny X-Force, etc., etc. But really, I think more than anything, the art is why you would buy this book more than the story, unless you're collecting the whole Age of X thing, which I am anyway. But probably the best part of it. So based on that, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I was expecting more as far as a climax, as far as the reason behind this happening, something that I hadn't ever thought of or wasn't expecting would have been nicer, I think. But it's good. You like it. If you like the art, that's for sure. So check out my other reviews. You can see them at Wikia or marvel.wikia.com and iFanboy, and you can follow me on YouTube also. Any one of those will get you all the reviews that I do every week. So until next time, thanks for watching.